Thanks, Francis. Now, former Bosasa COO Angelo Agrizzi has finished giving his testimony at the state capture inquiry. Agrizzi made a startling admission that he is in fact a racist. This emerged after a recording was played at the Zondo Commission in which he can be heard making racist remarks and including the use of the K word. Agrizzi told the Commission that some of his colleagues wanted to spill the beans, but he was scared. He told Judge Zondo that he believed the information he has was presented that he's presented was going to come out one day.
The evening of the 21st of August, it was about 5 o'clock. I couldn't even eat my supper with my family. I was off my food. I said, no, I can't continue like this. And I sat the family down. I phoned up my brother. It's only me and my brother in this country and my kids. And I had a chat with the family and I got them all around the table. And I said, I didn't go through what I've gone through for this. And I explained everything to them. And that's when I decided to put out a press release to open this thing up. I put out a press release and I basically said, listen, I'm coming clean. I knew that there would be pressure on me, so I knew that if I put it out in the open, then I couldn't turn back. Because I've always kept my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And if I put something like that in the open, there was no turning back.
And that was earlier on in the day. Following the story very closely, our political reporter Mzwandile Mbeje, who's with me in the studio now. Let's first start with what was the most interesting or explosive of the admissions that he made today before he wrapped up his whole testimony, Mzwai?
Well, obviously, I think the most important thing that came out was him admitting that he's a racist, and you know what caused all of that. You know, there was a recording, so that was done. And then, interestingly, he says he was aware when he was having those meetings with the Watsons that this recording was being done. So, which actually raised a lot of interest from the judge and from the head of the legal commission to say, because you knew that there was this recording, but you still went ahead and say some of those things. And then he basically said, well, it was in the privacy of my home. I think the judge basically said, well, do you have to say that because you're in the privacy of your home? But basically what this does, so it actually tells us about a complicated relationship between the Agrizzi family and the Watson family. Mm-hmm. I mean, here were people who time and again would fight, there would be resignations, but at some point they would reconcile, they would have meetings, they would have promises, money would exchange hands.
And I want to ask you about that money, Mzwai. At which point was the offer of plus minus 50 million rand made for Agrizzi's silence?
Remember, these people knew that all that they were doing was illegal, and the hawks and the investigations were following them. So, and they knew that if one of them had to leave, the others would be exposed. That is why they wanted him, even if it meant just for his silence, they wanted him in the fold.
Let's talk about two other things. The Guptas apparently putting in an application to cross-examine Agrizzi. And there's also Fantoner, the former CFO, who took the stand following the culmination of Agrizzi's testimony. Well,
on the Guptas one, it was quite interesting. We understand that the former Minister Trevor Manuel will be going to the commission at some point, and then in that commission he will implicate AJ Gupta about the appointment of Fikile Mbalula as the sports minister. So the Guptas basically wanted to put an application to say, well, so they want to cross-examine Mr. Manuel. But here's the catch, so the judge ruled in September that whoever wants to take part in the proceedings must avail himself, must be in the commission. In fact, he even repeated it today to say if they want to have that opportunity, they must come back. So that case was basically, that application was a non-starter because the judge said, I mean, if these people are not going to be here, So it's not necessary to even listen to the substantive issues. So basically, when Mr. Manuel deals with this issue, I don't think, so the Guptas would not have the opportunity unless they want to come
Very
back.
quickly, Mzwai, the CFO, what came out from his testimony?
Mr. Van Donner, who was the CFO of Bosasa, has just started the proceedings today. So basically, Mr. Van Donner is the one who took the video. You remember that video where there was millions, Watson? So that is the person. So basically, he will be detailing as we go with his evidence. He'll be detailing how he dealt with Bosasa, how he dealt with Kevin Watson, so how he dealt with the issues of money. So that is where we're at now. So it was at the preliminary stages, but from tomorrow, so we'll get to hear more details about it.
Thank you very much, Mzwandile Mbeje, who is our political reporter with his eye very keenly on that story. It is our question of the day. We are asking if Angelo Agrizzi ought to be charged with hate speech.